On his 72nd birthday, Albert Einstein found himself surrounded by reporters and photographers eager to capture the renowned physicist. As he sat in the back seat of a car, weary of the attention, yet ever the mischievous genius, Einstein stuck out his tongue in a moment of playful defiance. The resulting photograph, taken on March 14, 1951, became one of the most famous images of him, perfectly encapsulating his irreverent spirit and lifelong curiosity. Amid the chaos following the Tiananmen Square massacre, a single figure stepped forward, embodying courage against overwhelming force. On June 5, 1989, an unknown man in a white shirt and dark pants blocked the advance of a column of Chinese tanks. Armed with nothing but grocery bags, he stood his ground, making a powerful statement against military oppression. The haunting image remains a symbol of defiance and the fight for democracy. On Christmas Eve, 1968, Apollo 8 astronauts captured a breathtaking sight never before seen by human eyes: Earth rising over the barren lunar horizon. The full-color photograph, known as Earthrise, forever changed our perspective on our fragile blue planet. The image reinforced the urgency of environmental preservation and remains one of the most influential photographs in history. 3 days after the devastation of Hiroshima, the world witnessed yet another moment of unimaginable destruction. On August 9, 1945, the Fat Man atomic bomb exploded over Nagasaki, generating a colossal mushroom cloud that rose miles into the sky. The photograph, taken from a US aircraft, captured the sheer magnitude of nuclear warfare, marking a turning point in history and a stark warning for future generations. As news of Japan's surrender spread, spontaneous celebrations erupted across the United States. In the heart of Times Square, on August 14, 1945, a jubilant sailor grabbed a nurse and kissed her in a moment of unrestrained joy. The image, immortalized by photographer Alfred Eisenstein, became an enduring symbol of relief, love, and the end of World War II. On July 20, 1969, the world watched in awe as Neil Armstrong descended the ladder of the Eagle lunar module and took humanity's first steps on the moon. With the simple but profound words, "That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind," Armstrong marked the pinnacle of human exploration. The grainy black and white footage of this moment remains an enduring testament to scientific achievement. In 1969, during the Nigerian Civil War, photographer Don McCullin captured a heart-wrenching image of a 9-year-old albino child suffering from severe malnutrition. The skeletal frame and hollow eyes of the young boy revealed the devastating impact of famine in Biafra. The image helped raise awareness of the humanitarian crisis, sparking international aid efforts. One of the most haunting images of the Holocaust shows a young Jewish boy, hands raised as Nazi soldiers round up families in the Warsaw Ghetto. The terrified expression on his face captures the sheer horror of persecution and mass extermination. This single moment of despair has since become a powerful symbol of the countless lives lost during one of history's darkest chapters. In 1936, Dorothea Lange photographed Florence Owens Thompson, a destitute mother with her children huddled around her. The lines of worry etched on her face embodied the suffering of millions during the Great Depression. The image became an enduring testament to resilience in times of economic hardship. On May 6, 1937, the German airship Hindenburg erupted into flames as it attempted to land in New Jersey. Sam Scher's photograph captured the fiery wreckage collapsing to the ground, marking the tragic end of the era of passenger airships. The disaster, along with the infamous radio broadcast exclaiming, "Oh, the humanity, Zrania," remains one of the most chilling moments in aviation history. In 1960, Alberto Korda captured an image of revolutionary leader Che Guevara gazing into the distance with a determined expression. The photograph, later titled Guerrillero Heroico, became a global emblem of rebellion, resistance, and leftist movements worldwide. Felipe Halsman's 1948 photograph of Salvador Dalí is a masterpiece of surrealist photography. With Dalí suspended mid-air, along with flying cats and splashes of water, the image embodies the boundless creativity and eccentricity of the legendary artist. In 1895, Wilhelm Röntgen revolutionized medicine when he captured the first-ever X-ray image of his wife Anna's hand. The eerie photograph, revealing the bones beneath the skin, marked the dawn of modern radiology, transforming medical diagnostics forever. In 1908, Louis Hine photographed a young girl working in a cotton mill, her small hands dwarfed by the massive machinery around her. The haunting image helped expose the harsh realities of child labor, ultimately contributing to labor reform in the United States. In 1997, Philippe Kahn used his prototype camera phone to capture an image of his newborn daughter and instantly share it with friends and family. This seemingly simple moment marked the birth of mobile photography, changing the way people document their lives. In 1992, an emaciated child lay on the ground, too weak to stand, as a vulture lurked nearby. The photograph, taken during the famine in Somalia, shocked the world and highlighted the urgency of humanitarian aid. It remains one of the most distressing images of modern famine. During the 1968 Olympic Games, American sprinter Tommie Smith stood atop the podium, raising a clenched fist in a Black Power salute. Barefoot, with his head bowed, Smith's silent protest against racial injustice became a defining moment in sports and civil rights history. In the late 19th century, Edward Muybridge set out to answer a simple yet puzzling question. Do all four hooves of a galloping horse leave the ground simultaneously? Using a series of carefully arranged cameras, he captured the first-ever stop-motion photographs, proving that they do. His groundbreaking work paved the way for motion pictures, revolutionizing both photography and cinema. In 1860, Matthew Brady captured a portrait of Abraham Lincoln that would later be credited with helping him win the presidency. The photograph presented Lincoln as a dignified and resolute leader at a time when the nation was on the brink of civil war. It remains one of the most recognized images of the 16th President of the United States. In 2007, a photograph of Senkwekwe, a majestic mountain gorilla lying lifeless after being killed in the Democratic Republic of Congo, shocked conservationists around the world. His tragic death became a symbol of the devastating impact of regional conflict on wildlife, spurring international efforts to protect endangered species. At the turn of the 20th century, photographer Jacob Riis exposed the harsh realities of tenement life in New York City. His image of a young street gang on the Lower East Side highlighted the struggles of impoverished children, ultimately influencing housing reforms and social welfare programs. Edward Curtis' 1904 photograph, The Vanishing Race, depicts a group of Native Americans riding away into the distance. The image, while beautiful, reinforced the false notion that indigenous cultures were disappearing. Today, it serves as a reminder of the resilience and survival of Native American communities. During World War II, millions of American soldiers carried a morale-boosting image of actress Betty Grable. Her famous pin-up pose, featuring a playful over-the-shoulder glance and her legendary million-dollar legs, became an enduring symbol of wartime nostalgia and Hollywood glamour. Julius Schulman's 1960 photograph of case study House Number 22 perfectly captured the sleek, modernist vision of post-war America. Perched on a Los Angeles hillside, the home, with its breathtaking view and glass-walled design, became an enduring symbol of mid-century architecture and the California dream. For decades, the world was captivated by the supposed existence of the Loch Ness Monster, thanks in part to a 1934 photograph taken by Dr. Robert Wilson. The grainy image of a long-necked figure emerging from the water fueled the legend, until it was revealed to be a hoax decades later. In 1942, photographer Gordon Parks captured Ella Watson, an African-American government worker, standing in front of an American flag with a mop and broom in hand. The image, American Gothic, was a powerful commentary on racial inequality and injustice in pre-civil rights America. In 1964, Charles Moore photographed a brutal scene in Birmingham, Alabama, where a police officer unleashed a dog on a black protester. The shocking image exposed the cruelty of segregation and helped galvanize public support for the Civil Rights Act. In 1955, fashion photographer Richard Avedon created one of the most striking images in haute couture history. The photograph features model Dovima elegantly poised in a Dior gown, standing between two massive elephants. The contrast between grace and strength made it one of the most celebrated fashion photographs of all time. In 1984, photographer Jacobus Co-Rentmeester captured an airborne Michael Jordan soaring towards the basket. The silhouette of the basketball legend became the foundation for the now famous Jumpman logo, forever cementing Jordan's influence in both sports and global culture. Taken in 1907 by Alfred Stieglitz, the steerage is a masterpiece of modern photography. The image depicts immigrants crammed into the lower deck of a ship bound for America, offering a stark contrast to the luxurious upper deck above. The photograph revolutionized documentary photography, elevating it to an art form. Robert Frank's 1955 photograph of a segregated streetcar in New Orleans captured the racial divide of mid-century America. The image, featuring black passengers seated separately from white passengers, became a defining piece in The Americans, a landmark documentary photography book. Henri Cartier-Bresson's 1932 photograph of a man mid-leap over a puddle exemplifies his philosophy of the decisive moment. The perfectly timed shot, taken behind the Gare Saint-Lazare train station in Paris, is considered one of the greatest photographs ever taken. In 1930, Erich Salomon infiltrated diplomatic meetings at The Hague, capturing exhausted world leaders slumped in their chairs after hours of negotiations. His pioneering use of candid photography revolutionized political photojournalism, showing world leaders in unguarded moments. Cindy Sherman's 1978 self-portrait from her untitled film still series presents a woman in an ambiguous, cinematic moment. By blurring the lines between photography and performance art, Sherman challenged traditional representations of women in media. Annie Leibovitz's 1991 photograph of a pregnant Demi Moore on the cover of Vanity Fair sparked controversy and redefined maternity photography. Once considered taboo, the image helped normalize public discussions about pregnancy and motherhood. Carlton Watkins' breathtaking 1861 photograph of Cathedral Rock in Yosemite helped influence the U.S. government's decision to protect the region. His images contributed to the establishment of the Yosemite Grant Act, which laid the foundation for the national park system. In 1943, photojournalist Weegee captured a moment of stark contrast in New York high society. The critic shows a disheveled woman sneering at two glamorous opera-goers, satirizing the divide between wealth and poverty. A carefully staged 1966 photograph of Chairman Mao Zedong swimming in the Yangtze River was used as propaganda to promote his strength and vitality. The image bolstered his cult of personality at a time when political control in China was tightening. Thérèse Frere's heartbreaking 1990 photograph of David Kirby, a young man dying of AIDS, surrounded by his grieving family, humanized the AIDS epidemic. Published in Life magazine, the image broke taboos and raised awareness about the crisis. In 1927, a single photograph captured the greatest gathering of scientific minds in history. The Solvay conference image features 17 Nobel Prize winners, including Albert Einstein, Marie Curie, and Niels Bohr. The meeting was instrumental in shaping modern physics. These photographs are not just snapshots in time. They are windows into history, capturing humanity's greatest triumphs, deepest sorrows, and moments of profound change. Which of these images left the greatest impact on you? Let us know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this journey through rare moments in history, don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more incredible stories from the past. See you in the next episode of Rare Moments in History.